Well, good morning. Welcome back to the sawmill. My name is Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry. I'm going to do a little update on the channel and what I have going on this morning. I have a little bit of time this morning before I can get to sawing and a couple of errands to run. The Veterans Center that we built and opened up down in Falmouth, I have to move a dishwasher for it this morning. So apparently somebody donated one. They have one taken. They're getting a perfectly good one taken out of their house in a neighboring town. They donated it to the Veterans Center. Apparently they couldn't find anybody to move it, so we have to go do that. My wife's going to be on a Zoom for an hour, and then we're going to go do that later this morning. Then I'm going to get back to doing some sawing. I'm just getting back from my big weekend with the boys, guys I haven't seen in 40 years. Played some golf. I've been kind of struggling through some leg injuries. It was kind of torturous for me, but seeing the guys was great. We had a great hangout, and it was a lot of fun. I look forward to um, doing it next year. It's really guys I grew up with, and it was a wonderful time. Seeing them hanging around, having some drinks around the fire, and talking about the old days and everything. It was really a neat time. But want to give you guys an update on really the forestry business here and what we have going on. I thought this morning would be a good time since she kind of needs the house for an hour to do her Zoom call. So I'll walk around and give you guys a bird's eye view, a little overview of what we have stacked up here for work that I have to get back to. I kind of took yesterday off. I was just too hurting to do anything. So, and we do have a kind of a exciting channel update as well coming up here that I've got my wife who works so many hours a week at the charity that she's involved in, which is Joe Q Veterans Coffee Break. She's on the board of that charity, and she probably works, I don't know, 100 hours a week for them. If you guys Google Joe Q Veteran Coffee Break, if you want to donate to a good cause, it's a great organization, and they got the funding and the permitting to build this veteran center in Falmouth, and we're finally done, and it's up and operating. I went down to Vets with Dogs last night with Danny. Danny's foot's healing up. I'd show you Danny, but he's inside kind of sleeping right now. So I think we'll take a walk around. I'll show you everything that's going on. Hopefully that's interesting. If you don't want to watch, I understand. But the big announcement about the channel is that my wife is going to start pulling herself away from the Veteran Center a little bit, and she is going to take over videography for the channel. She's actually one of the through one of the technology uh, companies that's donating their time to the veterans. They offer a whole bunch of different programs, and in the Veteran Center, we have a whole technology room where veterans can go in and learn different types of technology that will hopefully help them expand their horizons a little bit, and it's all free to them. One of the programs is video editing. Couldn't come at a better time. So my wife is actually involved in that program, and she's taking the video editing class, and she is going to take over as videographer for the channel, and she's going to do the editing, obviously somewhat with me. And we are going to kind of take this channel to the next level. And I couldn't have done this without you guys. My goal has never been to be monetized. My goal has always been to share information and neat things that I've learned throughout my life being in the trades, whether it be sharpening a plane iron or making an axe handle or setting up a table saw or sawing lumber, building things, whatever it is. My goal has always been to share my information with you little how to do things, reviews on tools, so on and so forth. I've been lucky or unlucky enough in life to have worked kind of out in the crap my whole life, with a short stint as a golf pro too. But and I've learned from the people that came before me, and I like to pass that information on, and that's how this channel started. But now the channel's grown to the point where it makes money, and we want to make it more professional for you guys. And without you, um, that wouldn't have been possible. It would have never even been a thought. It wasn't even a dream. It was just, I just want to pass information on. And now here we are where the channel makes some money and we want to make it better. So my wife's going to be coming on doing that. You're going to see her more in videos, and you're going to see a more professional product. And that product, as we increase our following and increase our views, is going to get better and better and better. But let's take a walk around the yard here. I'll show you what we got coming up. I got to cut some white oak today. I have to do some edging over the next 2 days. Looks like it's going to rain later in the week, so that's going to actually give me some more time to heal up. I'm pretty torn up in the lower region here of my legs, which is, without getting into it, has been a nagging injury. Happened about 2-3 weeks ago, and it got worse, got a little better, and then got worse over the weekend playing a lot. Something I haven't done in a long time. I haven't played in a couple of years. So let's take a walk around, and I'm actually going to keep you guys on the tripod and kind of go from the back here and just kind of talk your way through it. So here's 2 white oak logs that I have to do today for a customer. They want 6/4 boards out of it, as wide as I can get them. So what we'll do is we're going to blow those 2 white oaks into cants, and we'll cut 6/4 boards out of it. I also have to slab that big white pine right there. I'm going to try to see if I can get that down into mill size, but it's too big for the mill the way it sits. And if I really can't get it into mill size without really destroying the natural edge part of it, then I will end up chainsaw milling that log. So that'd be a cool video. Right behind it here, all my offcuts, you can see one there, all my offcuts from cutting logs down to length that have all got to, this all needs to be turned into firewood. My splitter needs to move, but this all has to be done first. So that's going to be sometime in the next week or two. We're getting into firewood season, so I need to take care of the firewood for the year. And I have to cut for my campwood bin out front too, which is kind of like a little ATM machine, to be honest with you. The campwood bin has been good this fall. It's been cold at night. So they've been buying the crap out of the campwood bin. I sell it for $10 an armload. I don't even bundle it. They just come, and if you're a big person, then you can take a really big armload for $10. And if you're not a big person, then you just get what you can get for $10. If I see somebody out there, I always go out and just say, hey, take a little extra, don't short yourself. It's just kind of a waste product for us. So we want to make sure that we use everything. And I'll kind of get into that in a minute. So I have this big stack of barn board here and some 2x4 stock that I have to get through. I have to edge it all out. Some of it's already edged into boards, and they're just whatever width they were. I tend to cut on nominal numbers, so these are probably 1x10s. And there's 1x8s and 1x6s and some 1x4s in there, but the rest of it all has to be edged off and get stacked. A lot of this is going to end up going to the timber frame customer when he starts sheathing his timber frame. He's already working on the joinery and going to town, and that project is coming along. I know he's done with all his base work, and he's working his way up now. And then once they put it together, he's going to have to roof it and sheath it, and a lot of this is going to go to him, and I'm going to have to cut him a pile more as well. One of my ground bunks has come apart, and I learned a valuable lesson on this one. We kind of made up, when we first started cutting, we made a 16-footer, an 8-footer, and a 10-footer just out of stuff that we had lying around on the ground, and some smaller beams. I don't know if they kind of look like 6x6s. Um, that were not very good wood and they weren't good for anything else. So we just made these up to be able to stack stuff on that will stay flat. This particular one right here, I made a mistake. And I'll show you the mistake I made. When I was breaking down those 2x4s on the bottom, the skids on the bottom, I tried to make them as long as I could. I tried to break them into even numbers, and I made this too long, so my forks barely get to that bunk. So it should have been 4 feet wide from outside to outside. So my forks will stick all the way through, and they barely touch. So sometimes if you don't get all the way in, they'll come up and they'll push. What they'll do is they'll push through the decking. And I beat this up because I dropped a big log on it one day, trying to keep the log out of the dirt over there. When I came over with a big pine log that I had to slab, I said, well, I'll stick it up on top of this so I don't get it in the dirt. And it crushed a bunch of it. So I've got to put that back together. I'm actually going to take the back runner off it and move it over, and I'll pull all this decking off the top. It's just screwed down, so it's easy to take apart. And we do that with just scrap screws and stuff that we've had from job sites. I have bucketfuls of them. We do it with whatever we have lying around. So they've been very valuable. The problem is they're kind of more than you need. If you watch Robert Milton at Hobby Hardwoods, and you look at the skids that he uses, those are a little bit easier to use, easier to make. These are the good thing about these is that they're on such a stable base that it doesn't matter where you put them, your lumber is going to stay flat. And some of the lumber that I've had stacked on these for a long time stays perfectly flat. And that's one plus to these. The negative to these is that to run a business like ours, I'd need about 20 of them. And that's a lot of lumber. As we go forward in life here, I probably will end up with like 20 of them. Um, but to get started, Robert Milton skids, and he has way more than me. He's a big time company. Um, his are perfect for what he does. He does have a lot of nice flat areas to put them in, stuff like that, where I don't. So these do have an advantage of staying flat when you put them down, no matter where you put them. But Robert Milton's are way simpler, and to deal with the amount that he has, his are way more practical. So these are all my 2x4 stock for my shed build, which is sitting right behind the Bobcat over here. I also have to get through this right here. I've got to cut some 2x4s out of these, and I do have a bunch more barn board here to be edged off. I did get all my slab wood out of here, so this is all going to be dealt with too. You can see my slab wood / firewood / campwood pile over here. That's where the splitter is going to end up going, probably right where that half round I pushed over there yesterday is sitting. What I'll end up doing is I'll put the splitter over here. You pull the Bobcat up. I break the slabs down into 16 inches, run them through the splitter, split them real small for campwood and for inside the house. And this stuff is super, super dry. So it burns terrific. There's a lot of wood here. If I could show you how dry some of this stuff is. I'm just picking this up with my fingers here. This is like bone. This piece, is bone dry. All this stuff is just bone dry. So it's perfect for creating a no waste situation. We just break it all down into firewood and campwood. It goes in the campwood bin. It goes in the house. We stack it everywhere in the house, and we burn it all winter. Last winter, we didn't even turn the heat on. So here's my equipment shed that's going in. It's 8x10. Most of you, if you watch the channel, you've seen the build on the base on that. We made it so you can move it around. So it's a very, very heavy duty base with shiplap floor, so the mice can't get up through it as they board shrink. And there are skids in place in the base so that I can pick it up with the machine. And when this is completely done, as this shed dries out, the weight on it, if you do the weight calculation on it in pine, it will be light enough to be picked up with that Bobcat. That Bobcat will pick up easily 5,000. And I think I did the calculation on the shed, and it's going to be somewhere around 4,000 for, between 4 and 5. So that will pick it up and move it around if I have to. But right now, I think that's where it's going to stay and live for the rest of its life, would be my guess. I do have, let's go take a look at what we got for inventory out here. Where we stomped through our inventory doing the timber frame order. So I actually had things kind of sorted that I thought I was going to use for the timber frame order. Now, a lot of this here is going to get cut for sheathing because he's going to need a lot of it. So a lot of this will get cut for sheathing. It's a mix of white pine and pitch pine. I try to keep the big, long monsters, the 20-footers and the 18-footers, 16-footers. Try not to cut those as much as I can in case I get beam orders. We have a big stack of black poplar here. Not sure what that is all going to turn into. I got to see if my slab guy is selling the slabs I brought to him, and if they are selling, I'll cut some more slabs. If not, I'll just hold on to that for the most part until maybe I'll make some trim out of it at some point. This usually is my short pile of pine. I know there's some long ones stuck here, but I had to move them around to get to other logs. But I usually keep this, it's like my 8 to 10 foot pile, and stuff that's shorter than 8 feet that I don't want to get rid of. And I use it whenever I can. So if I can cut short stuff, I pull the short stuff out of here. This was much, much bigger. I used a lot of this in the timber frame order. This is a pile of elm over here, and I just got in 2 logs from a customer. I'm just keeping them separate. They're nice, really beautiful, straight black oaks that he just had taken down, and he does not know what he wants to do with them yet. I know they're going in his house. There's a chance that they're going to get cut down into flooring, but I'm just keeping them separate. Everything else here is American red elm. It's actually an elm there, an elm there, an elm behind it. There's an elm down inside down there. Some beautiful elm here. I'm just waiting for the right situation to cut them. Got a whole big pile of beautiful spruce and pitch pine here on bigger logs, and kind of keep them that way for now. Try not to use them unless wait for the right situation to come in. Kind of get over into my oak stuff here. Those are short. We'll just call them red oaks for now. Red oak, black oak, those shorts here. Obviously, I got a couple of decent sized black locust here too. Got a couple of walnut logs right there. This is longer red oak. This is just kind of ended up this way, but this is a pile of stuff that can't easily be cut. So it's a mix of pine. There's actually a birch in the front right there, but stuff that's kind of a weird shape. You see the one on the top of the chunk out of it. This one down here is huge with all kinds of limbs and leaders off it and stuff like that. So this is like my can't easily be cut pile that someday if a log just fits out that it works, then I'll pull it out and cut it. This red oak, white oak, and black oak and bigger size logs. Oh, there's one of those little chipmunks that Danny hunts out here, sitting there looking at me. They're starting to gather up their acorns, which are all over the ground now. Over here, I got a bunch of maple and logs that I had to move out of the way to get to stuff that I needed for the timber frame order. That will all end up getting organized and cut. Over here, I got some small, short white oaks. There was a lot of metal in this order, so they're kind of like going to be specialty logs. If I need them, I will cut them. Probably end up slabbing these out at some point, but they're it's just a stack of white oak that had a lot of metal in it. This is another pile of just logs that I had to get out of the way, so it was just a good spot to stick them. And I don't know if you guys can see how this goes here, but this is kind of ends up being a border wall for Danny. So Danny comes out here and he climbs up on the logs, but he can't go off into the back part of the property. So it's kind of acts like a fence and a jungle gym for him. He loves that. This is the balance of Jesse Key's pitch pines for his flooring in his house, and most of these are kind of crooked, that some of them are going to end up being firewood, like that top one right there, and probably this one right here. And I'll take out of this what I can as I go. It'd be like days when I got nothing else to cut, I'll cut Jesse Key's stuff. For his flooring, also, these are his logs over here, these little shorts, and they're pitch pines, and at some point those will get cut too. I have a couple of Jesse Key's logs over here that weren't that straight that I pulled out to get to some of the straighter logs. You got a nice big monster pitch pine right there. That'll be awesome timber frame beams. And we'll walk out front. I got a couple of neat hardwoods in while I was gone, and I'll show you those. And our front piles that are going down. Dead air, dead air. Grab my coffee on the way by here. So I know this is kind of a boring video, but for people that want to know what's going on here, and for the morning here so I can get out of the house for a minute, it serves a purpose. Do have some nice big short elm right there. Show you those. Those came in quite a few years ago, but they've been sitting up and they're nice and dry, and those could make some very, very interesting slabs going forward for smaller tables and things like that. And eventually, when I get some time, I'll chainsaw mill those. So that'll be a cool video. That's just a firewood pile. I think there's one like kind of black oak in there that I think might end up being a saw log. It looks like it's only about 7 feet long, but it's kind of nice size to maybe cut some planks out of, maybe quarter saw it. That's a pretty cool little log. And the rest of this is just all going to get cut firewood for this year. I got these silver maples in to cut for Jesse Keys. He wants them slabbed out. And he does kind of some funky higher end building organic stuff kind of all over the Northeast. People out in the woods and stuff that have cabins and things like that, they hire him to come in and do some kind of cool funky organic work. This one here is going to be really interesting. So when he first brought it in, I said, well, I'll cut it off right there and I'll slab out the straight part. And he was asking me if I could cut it curved like that. Well, I can't do that on the sawmill, but I can chainsaw mill that. So I told him the other day, I think I'm going to cut that in its shape. And he thought that it would be really cool slabs for outside seating areas in his application, that he, could have like kind of a radiused seating thing for outdoor bar tops. So we are going to cut that in that shape. We'll put a ladder straight across it. We'll get a flat spot on it, and then we'll mill right around the curve with a chainsaw mill and cut that log in that curved shape. So that curve, it'll actually be sitting flat. But we will cut that curved. Got some black oak slabs over there. This is just kind of more stock sitting around. My wife wanted this piece, so I'm keeping it. She wants it for a table on the back of the house. I got to figure out a base for that, put that out in the back of the house near the grill. And I've got a couple of poplar slabs over here. Good sized poplar slabs that I couldn't fit in my truck when I took them to Thatcher Smith, the slab dude, at Plymouth Live Edge. If you want to look him up, everything kiln dried, every species, awesome warehouse. Just a first rate company. If you want to look somebody up for slabs, look up Thatcher Smith at Plymouth Live Edge. And a whole bunch of barn board stock here. That's just a pile of white oak that's been sticking and drying in all different dimensions. A couple of pieces of black locust down there too that I didn't want to get rid of. And the cedar pile back there is all black locust. And I'm almost out of pine logs in my top I cut through for the timber frame mortar. I cut through this whole, you can see all the bark on the ground. I cut through this whole pile. Only got a few back there, some nice straight, smaller ones. They're pretty dirty logs, but I will end up getting to these or moving them out back and try to open this area up. I kind of want to expose this black locust and get it organized, because it's, when I do get somebody who wants black locust, this stuff's kind of hard to get to back here. At least it was when this pile was, I don't know how I can show this on camera, but this pile right here came all the way out to like right here and was stacked probably 10 feet high with huge logs, and I cut through all that for the timber frame mortar. So I want to get all this out of here and out back so I can have this area up here just to stack lumber in the shade. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is all shaded, and it's a perfect area to stack lumber and keep it out of the sun. So this area here is probably going to get loaded up with bunks and lumber stacks. Got a little load of kind of some squirrely pitch pine in from my tree guy. Some of this is good, some of this will be firewood. This will probably all end up being cut into 1-inch boards, would be my guess, for flooring and sheathing on my sheds and on the timber frame order. But that's about it. That's my firewood bin right there next to the house, and for what I keep outside, and it is pretty much empty. So I'm going to start filling that up. I will fill that up, and actually we have it so that you just tarp over the top of it. Now that I took this garden out, I can drive right in there with a bobcat and dump it in there. Before, I had to come in from where the truck is and couldn't reach the whole thing. From here, I can reach the whole thing and just fill that bin all the way up. I'll show you the campwood bin out front. Oh, and I've got some white oak logs here to cut into planks too. This is all going to get cut into, I think, 5/4 stuff. I'm going to have to double check on that, whether it's 5/4 inch, but this, the small load of white oak that the customer wanted. Actually, I can see this one's not a white oak in there too in the middle. That middle one's not a white oak. That's some form of red oak, and it's got some rot in it. But he just wanted this all cut out. I don't know what that is. That is not a white oak. It is not a red oak. I don't know what that log is, but it's definitely a hardwood. It's going to be interesting. Almost kind of looks like a fruit tree. So we're going to cut that one too in a planks form. Here's our campwood bin out front. Haven't checked it for money this morning. You can see put little signs on it say $10 an armload, and all the off weird stuff I throw underneath, weird chunks, and that's all free. And they just come in here and grab an armload and go burn it at their little outdoor fire pit. And actually, I have had some wood. There's going to be money in there. They took some out of the back. That back's been in there for probably a year, and nobody's touched it. Somebody took a ton out of the back because that was filled all the way to the roof. So somebody came in, took wood last night. Yep. So there's a big empty spot right there too. So I am going to have to fill this up. Probably, I have enough in there for at least a week, but next week I'll probably have to fill this back to the top with softwood and hardwood. So there's going to be there's going to be a bunch of money in there. They took several armloads out of here, at least $40 worth of wood out of here, maybe even more. I can see how low it is back there. If you look in, you see how low that top is right there. They took it all out of there, all the way down this side. They took this whole chunk all the way up to the ceiling, and they took some from down the bottom too, because there's a big hole there, and there's a big hole there. They actually kind of picked through some of the stuff what they wanted, which is fine by me. It's all just waste. We just want to get it out of here. So you take a walk back. If anybody knows what that fruit tree is, let me know. I mean, it's hard to tell without leaves. Actually, there is a leaf on it. There is a leaf on it. Let's see if we can see what this leaf is. Hold on, let me put my coffee down. It's very interesting. This is a leaf right here. Let's see if it's can be straightened enough to figure out what it is. I have no idea what this is. It's obviously been on the ground a while. And I just think it kind of looks like a fruit tree, but we will give it our best guess when we cut it. So that's pretty much the bird's eye view of what we got going on. A lot of cutting to do, a lot of firewood to do. And in our effort to, continually use everything that we cut. I can tell you that I actually have a customer that wants these big planks right here for a roofing company to use as staging planks. So I'm waiting to hear from him, probably get him all this stuff right here. Um, all this stuff over here is going to get used on the shed. There's a bunch of 2x4 stock and stuff in there that's going to get used on the shed. I got some black locust slabs in there and some elm also that I've got to go out back. Some big ash cants out there that'll probably get cut at some point if somebody wants some cool flooring. I will, when I sheathe my shed, I will go through that pile and use as much as I can on the roof. Probably go with more conventional stuff on the side so it kind of all looks the same. There's a mix of oak and everything in there. I get that all edged off, and actually some white oak in there too. Whole bunch of big white oak planks down the bottom. Probably put those on the roof. And this whole area has to go. So some of this will get cut through for camp wood. Some of it's just going to get burned right out here, right in place. I sell this stuff for craft wood. So when customers, I put it in for like $5 a piece. I put 5 to 10, and people come out to pick craft wood stuff out of here. So you can see this bunch of funky cedar and stuff like that. They love that cedar. They take it just like that. Bunch of other kinds. Anything that I think is just too big just to throw out. When I'm cutting, I just throw it over here, and people come and they buy it. Not much money, but it's money, and it's better than wasting it. And then some days when I'm burning, I'll just burn a ton of it. In that little barrel right there with the air intake on the bottom, I could burn all this in one day with no problem. It burns the stuff up really fast. So this is all going to go for our retaining wall that's going to go along here. We're going to build it out of black locust. And then this whole hill is going to get pushed down and flattened off up top for my kiln. So that's the bird's eye view of what we have going on. I am going to do, let me pause you guys 1 second. I am going to do a video on the mill and the milling business, talk about some of the financial side of it. Like what can you expect to make when if you want to go out and buy a sawmill like the HD36, which for what I'm doing here, as far as cutting mostly construction material, it's a perfect mill for that. It's exactly its wheelhouse. Cutting timber frames, cutting barn board, 2x4s, things like that, construction material. This mill is perfect for that, especially in a manual setting like I'm doing. If you're looking to cut slabs, probably not the mill for you. It's not big enough. Um, the other real place where it probably isn't great is if you like to quarter saw bigger logs. It's probably not big enough for that. Doesn't have enough throat clearance to be able to quarter a decent sized log. You can go down 8 inches on this, and that would only give you like the capacity to do a 16-inch round in quarter sawing. And when you quarter out a 16-inch log, you're not getting very big pieces off it. It would be a waste. It really wouldn't be worth it to do. So if you're looking to do bigger quarter sawing or slabbing, I would go up to the 38 on that. And I think Norwood has a mill in the pipeline that's going to be a little bigger. I'm hearing rumors about it. So But if you're looking to cut construction lumber, whatever it is, timber frames, build a house, this mill's perfect for it. It's fast, it's convenient, it's got huge capacity for doing that stuff. You can put bigger logs on here than you want to deal with. And probably if you don't have a big tractor, something high horsepower to move them around, bigger logs than you can move around, you can put on this mill. I maxed this thing out with 36-inch logs, which is what the model HD36 means. It means that it should be able to cut a 36-inch log, not 36 inches wide on the planks, but 36 inches not in circumference, in diameter. You can deal with that log and break it down into a cant, and you can cut basically a cant that's 30 inches wide. It would have to be position perfect, but you could. I kind of say that 28's my max. So you can cut a 28-inch cant on that mill into boards. And for those guys who've been following me, you've seen me slab out monster logs and what you can do with that mill. You've also seen me go 18.6 on a bed that will only cut 16.7. So for cutting construction lumber, this is a great mill. But I do want to do a review on it, talk about the finance side, how long it takes to pay for it, the things that have failed and the things that I like and that I don't like, and the improvements that I've made, which are multiple, and how I think it cuts now, which I'll give you a spoiler alert. It cuts friggin' awesome. The way that I have this mill set up right now, it cuts absolutely perfect on dimension, flat. I never get wavy cuts, and it's all with all the testing I've done on the bands and everything. I am out of Stella Cut bands. I cut over 3,000 board feet on that last one, and it's still cutting flat. But when I get into hardwoods like the white oak, I won't be able to use it. It wouldn't cut. So I'm going back to the Silvertip Turbo 7s. It's a Wood Miser band. I get them out of Days Sawmill bands. You can look them up on Facebook, or you can search them on Google. Days Sawmill bands, Days Sharpening. They do both. They make new bands, sell new bands, and they sharpen bands also. All different manufacturers, all different lengths. You can just call her up, and she'll ship them right out to you. I usually get them in a day or two. The price is very competitive. I think I pay around $22 a band for the Silvertip Turbo 7s, which I love, and I'll be running those. Hopefully later today, everything goes right with moving this dishwasher. I'll be able to cut this afternoon, get those two white oaks knocked out, and get on to edging some of this stuff off, and hopefully cutting some big slabs for Thatcher so I can get those delivered next week. I got to send him a text to see if he's out of pine yet. I don't want to bring him if he doesn't need them, but I do want to cut that log so I can get it out of my way of my firewood stuff. So that's kind of the bird's eye view and the update. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I really hope that we're going to be able to turn this channel into something that's going to be really fun to watch from a cinematic view, not just an information standpoint. And hopefully I can keep my information stuff the way I've always kept it. In other words, showing you what I've learned and how to help you improve your life, so to speak. How can I sharpen my pocket knife? A good professional way. How can I sharpen my chainsaw blade chains? A good professional way. How can I sharpen my chisels or my hand plane irons or whatever? How do I do joinery? How can I sharpen a handsaw? All those things. We're going to keep all that in here. We'll keep doing tool reviews. Hopefully, we just make it a little more professional, a little more fun to watch, and keep it maybe down into a format that's a little bit smaller and doesn't have all my videos going out to an hour, which they all do. And we'll cut out a lot of the dead air, a lot of the walking around and this, that, and the other thing, make the clips kind of clip together more seamlessly, and get it into, a more professional format, and hopefully create some sort of passive income for us too, so that the channel itself starts contributing to the household and the business. But that's what I want to tell you guys today. I will shoot some more video today when I'm cutting, if everything goes right and I get to that. Right now, I'm going to pull the cover off the sawmill, throw the band on. Um, Everything's already greased and lubed up. I did it when I shut down the other night. So I'm all ready to go. Just got to get it all set up and ready to go. And then we got to get out of here in a little while to go get that dishwasher and get it over to the Veteran Center and get that thing inside for the company that's doing the install over there. I'm not sure why they can't move it, but apparently I'm the one that can. And hopefully, with my broke ass legs, I'll be able to do it. So appreciate the watch. If you have any questions, hit me up. And hopefully, we can all grow and improve together, and will be a great format for learning stuff. So hope you guys all have a great day. And for now, it's Pirate Solutions out.